the benefits of meditation combined with breath work, which most meditations are really to some degree, is that the breath is always with us. So it is a tool that we can always access, whether we're standing in line at the supermarket, whether we're laying in bed, whether we're on the phone with somebody, whether something happens and we're stressed out and we need to bring ourselves centered. The breath is always there, and it's always a tool we can use. So it's a great practice to incorporate when you're feeling okay, and then when you need it, it's more accessible to you, which is the reason for practicing anything, is so that it becomes second nature when it becomes a tool that we need to use. So meditation basically is having a single focus which helps bring you into the present moment. Really, meditation is about being present right here, right now. So when we're in our minds, which most of us are most of the time, we are somewhere else. We're thinking about the future, whether it's 5 minutes from now, if we're just put the kettle on to boil, or what we have to do later in the day, or what happened yesterday. It's always about the past and the future when we're in our minds. Our minds are useful tools. They are phenomenal. We can create ideas and build things and imagine things. And I mean, it's not that we want to shut the mind off, but what happens is that the mind starts to control us, and it just takes over. And we're sitting here, meditating, and all of a sudden 5 minutes later, we're like, oh, and we've been thinking about something else for 5 minutes because the mind just takes over and does its thing. So through meditation, we learn to recognize that. We learn to come into the present moment where your body is sitting, where your breath is. And then we can choose to use the mind when we want to think, create, come up with ideas, and all of the wonderful things that the mind does. So that's the practice, is to slow down the mind, come into the present moment, and find a place of peace and presentness, centeredness, so that the thoughts we have can then be more useful. If you're in a place of like fear, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? There's this coronavirus. I can't go outside. I can't do anything. I have to wear this mask. And you're in this place of the mind running you. After a meditation, you might be like, well, if I wear my mask, I can go and be careful, and I can do these things, or I can choose to stay home. And then you can come from a better place when you make decisions. So those are just some of just a little umbrella to start our day today about meditation. Breath work, breathing. Breathing. Let's all take a deep breath in together through our noses and sigh it out. So that 2 more times. Breathe in. Sigh it out. And 1 more time. Deep breath in. And sigh it out. And just keep your eyes closed for a moment and just feel into your body. And notice how it feels, if maybe it feels a little different than before those 3 breaths. And if you feel your breath a little bit more consciously, you can let your eyes open. Now, breath is with us from the moment we're born until the moment we die. It is our connection to life. It is our life force. And most of us breathe really shallow into our upper chest, little short breaths. And through this practice, we are going to learn how to become more aware and breathe deeper into our lungs. We say breathing into our bellies, but really we're breathing into our lungs. And as we breathe deeply, the diaphragm, which sits here, presses down. So it feels like we're breathing into our bellies, but we're breathing into our lower lungs. We have multiple lobes of our lungs. And most of the time when we breathe, we're breathing right up here. Now, an interesting thing is that the nervous system that helps bring us into relaxation or helps get us into fight or flight, it has connections to the different parts of the lungs. So when we're nervous, when we're in fight or flight, when we have to run from a polar bear, or when something has frightened us, we breathe in our upper lungs so that we can run and get out and get away from there. This is the sympathetic nervous system. I mean, the lungs connect to everything, but there are a lot more nerve endings to the fight or flight up here in this part of our lungs. In the lower part of our lungs, we have more connection to the rest and digest part of the nervous system, the part that slows down all the adrenaline and cortisol, the part of the nervous system that it's called rest and digest because when we're in this place, we're able to digest our food better. And if you have digestive issues, breathing deeply into the belly will be really beneficial for your digestion, either helping you digest or helping you eliminate, helping you detoxify. All of these things happen in the organs in this part of the body. So what I want to do over time is delve more into ways to breathe, consciousness about breathing, as I'm exploring this in my own life right now. And I find it so fascinating and so helpful that I just invite you along on this journey with me. We'll take each week as it comes and we'll try some different breathing techniques and just see how it feels. So the first breathing technique that we're going to do today, and if you've done yoga before, it will be familiar to you, is called Dirgha Pranayama, which is a 3-part breath. Dirgha means deep or full, and pranayama, prana is the life force that breath is, and yama is the ayama is extending it or deepening it. So we're going to be deepening our life force through a full breath. So that sounds great, doesn't it? We all want to deepen our life force. So let's start by coming to a comfortable seated position. And if you have a cushion or a blanket, to lift up your hips a little bit. I'm using a cushion right now, but you could easily use a blanket or a block, a yoga block. And the reason I suggest this, it's not necessary. You can just sit in a chair, but I see that those with me today are sitting on the floor. But if you're sitting in a chair, and the chair has like a divot in it for your butt cheeks, and what that tends to do is it tends to make our low back arch in a rounded way. So when we lift up our sits bones, we bring the natural curve to our lower spine. It's not the most important part, but it is a helpful part. When you can bring full length into the spine, that is an important part. But exactly how you sit, most important part is that you're comfortable and that you can invite length into your spine. So you can, if you want to look at me at any time, you can open your eyes, but really this is about focusing inside. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And if closing your eyes for any reason isn't comfortable for you, you can just gaze at the ground in front of you. That's a nice option. You can let your hands just sit on your lap for a moment. And let's just scan our bodies and just notice our legs, and or our feet connected to the surface beneath us, our buttocks, on a cushion or a chair. And just feel the connection. Notice the place where your body is connected to the surface beneath you. Just bring all your attention there for a moment. And just notice how your legs feel. And if there's anything that you want to do to become more comfortable, feel free to do that now or at any time. And then feel into your torso and invite some length into it. Maybe imagining that you're bringing the crown of your head towards the ceiling. And then relax your shoulders down. So there's effort in keeping a tall spine, but there's a sense of ease in your shoulders. And let your jaw soften. And now, without changing anything, find your breath. And what that means is just notice where your breath is entering and leaving your body, whether it's through your nose or perhaps your mouth. Notice where it goes to in your torso. Maybe your shoulders are lifting and relaxing. Maybe you're breathing into your ribs or your belly. We're not changing it, we're just noticing it. Is it deep? Is it shallow? Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it smooth or is it choppy? No judgment about any of those things, just a noticing. Now I invite you to take one hand and place it on your belly, around your belly button or below, wherever it feels comfortable for your hand to sit. And see if you can invite a softness into your belly. We hold so much tension in our bellies, and I think, especially as women and perhaps for men too, but growing up with all of our body image challenges in our society, as we are used to sucking our bellies in, holding in our stomachs. And for a real full breath into the deepest part of our lungs, our bellies need to be soft. So see if you can just send a message to your belly that it's okay to relax. And just notice if you can be aware of any holding or tension in your belly area. It might be way down in your belly, like near your pelvic bone, or you might feel it up towards your solar plexus. Just notice that. And let's invite a soft, gentle breath into the belly. And as you breathe in through your nose, notice your belly expand like a balloon. And as you exhale, you can use a little bit of your stomach muscles to draw your belly button in towards your spine, pushing the air out. So inhale, filling the belly nice and big like a balloon. Exhale, drawing the belly button gently towards the spine. You don't have to force out every bit of air, just gentle, helping the air to leave. So let's just sit with our belly breath for a few moments. Now, if finding this breath in your belly is difficult for you, I invite you to try lying down on your back or even on your belly and seeing if that helps you find a softness and an expansion in your belly. Now let's take our other hand and place it on our chest. And see if as you breathe into your belly, you can have your chest be soft. So it's as if you're pouring water into a glass and you're only filling the bottom 1/3 of the glass. And the top of the glass, which is your chest, where your hand is, isn't even moving. The breath is just coming right into the belly. It's not that you don't feel any movement at all under your hand that's on your chest, but you don't feel the breath expanding it. You just feel the breath in your belly. Let your jaws be soft, shoulders relaxed. And we're not forcing the breath. We're inviting the breath. We're not breathing so deeply that or with such effort that we're feeling tension with the breath. It's a soft breath. And just notice where in your body you might feel any signs of discomfort from this gentle breath, and just allow that to be okay if it's there. And with your next in-breath, as we fill the bottom of the glass, let your breath rise up into your ribs. So now we're coming to the second part of the 3-part breath. And then exhale, let your ribs relax down towards your waist, and then let your belly draw in towards your spine. So we're breathing into the belly, and then letting the breath rise up into our ribs, feeling our ribs expand, almost like an umbrella starting to open up all sides, just lifting a little. And then exhale, the sides of the umbrella come back down, the ribs come down to the waist, and then the belly draws in towards the spine. So let's sit with that for some breaths here. Belly to ribs, exhaling, ribs to belly. Shoulders still relaxed. Breath is an invitation. You might feel tightness or restriction somewhere on your breath's journey. That's okay. Just notice, just breathe into that place of tightness. And as you exhale, maybe even say the word to yourself, relax, or let go, inviting that letting go sense right into any place in your breath's journey that might feel tight. And now we'll expand to our 3 parts of the breath. We'll breathe into our belly, into our ribs, and then all the way up to our collarbones. Here, your shoulders will lift. And as you exhale, shoulders relax down, ribs relax down, and belly softens, belly button draws into the spine. So we're inhaling belly, ribs, all the way up to the collarbones. Exhaling, collarbones relax down, ribs relax down, belly draws towards the spine. So let's just try this now for some breaths. Full 3-part breath. And just notice, be gentle with yourself. You may find that, like I said before, there's restriction or tightness somewhere on your breath's journey. That is perfectly fine and natural. Just invite softness into those places with loving kindness towards yourself. Imagine your breath is like a wave, rolling in as it comes up to the top of your collarbones and rolling out as it releases. Notice also the sounds of your breath as the air comes in through your nose and releases through your nose. Inviting a full deep breath, but also keeping it soft and easy. Noticing if your mind begins to go to the future or the past, bring your attention back to the breath. Maybe even noticing the temperature of your breath at the tip of your nose. Is it a different temperature when you breathe in and when you breathe out? Let's add one more component here. As you breathe in, when you reach the top of your breath, just hold it for the count of 3, 2, 1, and then release. And at the bottom of the breath, hold for 3, 2, 1. Let's do that 2 more rounds of breath. Inhaling at your own pace. And just hold at the top with your lungs full of air. And after the exhale, just hold with your breath empty and just see how it feels for the count of 3. And after your next exhale, release all control of your breath. And let your hands just come down to your lap. And just notice how your body feels. And now find your breath again and just notice if your breath feels different than it did when we started. If your natural relaxed breath has changed. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. Just begin to bring some movement into your shoulders. Maybe deepen your breath one more time and you can allow your eyes to open and come back into our space together.